Welcome back to Peek into COS. Today, I'm sitting with Wes Yowell, who operates a company called Colorado Yeti Tours here in Colorado Springs. Wes, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
So you are a native. I mean, do you have the bumper sticker?
No.
No, you don't have the bumper sticker.
I don't have the bumper sticker.
But something of a rarity around here of meeting a native. What was it like growing up in Colorado Springs?
Well, you definitely see a lot of change, right?
Yeah.
So, was born here in the 70s.
Yeah.
I'm already dating myself.
That's all right. That's all right.
When I was 2, my dad ended up getting a job out in Anaheim. So I spent a couple years in Southern California, but then we came right back.
Okay.
So all the 80s, 90s, 2000s, right? Growth. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up as a kid here in the 80s, it still had that small town feel.
Uh-huh.
'Cause you're talking maybe a couple 100,000 people.
Sure.
Right? And the city is so spread out to begin with
Right.
that you're not really on top of everybody. And now,
Yeah.
I mean, just the population just exploded. I think the word's gotten out.
Yeah.
The secret's out.
Yeah. You're right. I've only been here 15 years, but we moved here from the DC area in Northern Virginia. So it was already very crowded in the Washington area around the Beltway. And when I hear people talk about growth, and particularly someone like yourself who's a native, your baseline is here, which makes a lot of sense. And when I first got here, I met the guy who does the traffic reports on KRDO. And I said to him, you're pretty overpaid. He goes, well, are you from LA? I said, no. He said, Chicago. I said, no. He said, DC. I said, yeah. He goes, I get it, man. He says, you're right.
It's night and day.
He says, it's night and day, but when there's an accident, you'll need to tune in. But still, I know what you mean. The growth people have found out about, you could say about the Front Range of Colorado, but particularly Colorado Springs, we've been blessed because either you grow or you die, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as a city. Wes, you probably have in your background a passion for hospitality and tourism. Where did that come from, and where have you worked?
I think probably the hospitality, passion for travel, probably exploded in the mid-90s when I ended up getting a job with Western Pacific Airlines.
Oh yeah, Westpac.
Westpac. So a lot of people don't know Westpac. So when I throw that out there, I have to say Western Pacific Airlines. It's good to hear Westpac. But I was actually one of the first employees at the Garden of the Gods. At the time, it was called Garden of the Gods Visitor Center.
Okay.
So that was probably around April of '95 when I started working there.
Okay.
Always had a passion for aviation growing up as a kid. Grew up over by the airport.
Mm-hmm.
One particular day, I ended up having an individual come in, and they were wearing a Westpac hat. And I just remarked, I was like, oh, Westpac, I'd love to work there, right? And then he says, well, you should go apply. They're hiring right now. So I did, and I ended up getting a job. My first job at Westpac was reservations. This is back in a time where no internet, you're not going to go online and book your own stuff.
Hello, you're answering phones. Yeah.
So I did that for a little while, and then while I was at Westpac, I turned 21, and then I transitioned to in-flight. So I was actually doing flight attendant stuff.
Okay.
That's what ignited the passion for travel.
Interesting.
Always wanted to travel because I've always been landlocked here in Colorado Springs,
Sure.
right? But being able to go to different cities and explore and see different things, that's what ignited the travel passion. And then, as we know, Westpac went bankrupt.
Yeah.
Fell into a job working at Carnival Cruise Lines, doing reservations here in the Springs.
Yeah.
I knew that wasn't going to be my long-term thing.
Sure.
So I ended up going back to school.
Okay.
And I re-enrolled in college, and I'm sure we'll probably get into it later, but that ended up taking me in a completely different direction. But the hospitality thing has always been just kind of like a customer service thing. It's just kind of like the way you're brought up, right? You just be polite, engaging.
Yeah.
And I think that transitions well to being a tour guide.
Yeah, it does. I hear that from people who come here to visit. Like they might be here for a conference, or they're just coming through, and they do talk about the people who live here and how friendly it is. I mean, I guess in some ways it does depend on who you're comparing it to, where you're coming from and where you live. But there again, coming from the DC area, I was not used to Western hospitality and people really being open and friendly. And I think that's another thing that people have discovered about Colorado Springs and the Pikes Peak region is wherever you go, chances are you're going to interact with people who are going to treat you like we're glad you're here.
Mm-hmm. And almost like a neighbor.
Exactly. I mean, there's a civic pride here that we like to talk about. So you're part of that, and we're raised that way. So all right. So you said you worked at the Trading Post?
The Visitor Center.
The Visitor Center. You were at the Visitor Center. Okay. Garden of the Gods is probably one of the attractions, if not the attraction that we're best known for. Mm-hmm. And I had a conversation today at City Council talking about how we're trying to disperse visitors and not have everybody Saturday morning at 9 a.m. In the roundabout trying to get into Garden of the Gods. Part of our job is to from a sustainability standpoint, make sure that that people find it the way they leave it for the way they found it for people coming forward. And so I guess my question is, you start transitioning into Colorado Yeti Tours. How did that become a reality for you?
The passion for travel.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was in law enforcement for a couple decades and was fortunate enough to be able to afford to travel. Mm-hmm. Not just domestically, but internationally
yeah, sure.
too. And it was during those trips where you would say it's a cruise and you book an excursion, and what I was doing, not only was I experiencing the excursion itself,
mm-hmm.
but I was kind of learning from the people that I was taking the excursion from.
Yeah, professionals,
so
right?
Yeah, I was taking bits and pieces of what they were doing that I really liked, that I thought would fit here really well. And then, so that's kind of how I built the model for Colorado Yeti Tours, was all of my traveling experiences, taking all the good stuff and trying to build it into, not so much like a one-size-fits-all tour.
Sure.
But something that was customizable, and that's one of the big things that I have. So you don't come to Colorado Springs and you hear that Garden of the Gods is the place to be, and Pikes Peak is another place that you got to see.
Right.
There's other things to see. So I have that on my website. There's a bunch of really cool things that don't necessarily get the notoriety. Mm-hmm. So somebody could, during the booking process, say, hey, I want to do A, B, C, and D. Right. And then I build the itinerary around what they want to see.
Just so we don't forget, and we'll do it at the end too, but give people your website address.
ColoradoYetiTours.com.
Okay. And so Bigfoot is was that are you a fan, or how did you pick the name Yeti?
How did the Yeti come to be?
How did the Yeti come to be?
Initially, I had targeted a completely different business name.
Okay.
And then when I started going down the rabbit hole, I found out that a part of the business name that I was going to try to utilize is trademarked by the International Olympic Committee.
Okay.
So I thought, are they really going to pay a whole lot of attention to Little Wes and Colorado Springs? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to have to rebrand, say, 6 years later if they did decide to,
Mm-hmm.
So, the Yeti. Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
Big hockey team.
Yeah.
I'm a huge hockey fan. When the Avalanche came to Colorado initially, their mascot was a Yeti.
Okay.
It's now a St. Bernard.
Yeah.
You can do the Googling and find out why they went from a Yeti to the St. Bernard. But
okay.
I've always been a fan of the Yeti, right?
Yeah.
So when I was trying to come up for names for the business, it just it came out. Right. As I was pitching ideas to my daughter, and that's the one that kind of lit her up. She goes, "Oh, I like that. It's different. It's cool."
Yeah.
And then when you really think about it, there's so much you can do marketing-wise
mm-hmm.
with a Bigfoot / Yeti / Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of settled into it pretty quick. Once I set that other first choice aside.
Okay.
But that's how I ended up with, going down the road for Colorado Yeti Tours.
And so far, you've never heard from the company Yeti.
I have not. I have not.
Okay, that's good. It sounds like you have a good defense.
Yeah.
So you were a first responder.
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
For
22 years.
Wow. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
I appreciate it.
It's still my brother was a longtime first responder in Virginia, and it's a fraternity. I mean, wherever you travel, you've always got a place to stop in, and I know it's here, as we were talking about growth, we continue to add to our force, to make sure that
It's necessary.
yeah, that
Yeah.
it's a safe place to come.
Exactly.
So now let's talk. We've got people that'll be listening who live here,
Okay.
and but chances are, they're inviting friends and family to come and visit, and they may have an idea of what they'd like to do. But now we're going to talk a little bit about a professional service that's available, and then we'll also have people listening who are visiting. They're either here or they're planning their trip. So let's talk about kind of the experience of what can somebody expect on a Colorado Yeti tour.
Personalized service.
Personalized.
Right?
There you go.
So when you decide to book through me, it becomes customized.
Okay.
All my tours are 100% private. So whether you're a couple or you're a small family,
Mm-hmm.
everybody that's in the vehicle with me, everybody knows everybody.
Okay.
Right? So you're not having to share snacks with Greg from Wisconsin,
Yeah.
right?
Get
he's
that
still-
cheese head off there.
So the booking process essentially goes like this. You go onto the website, you pick the amount of time that you want me for. So I do tours in 3 different segments, 6, 8, or 10-hour segments.
Okay.
Okay. Once you select what hour segment you want, then you're allowed to pick which date you want. And
Got
then
it.
when you select the date, that kind of starts the ball rolling. That's when I get notified that you have a booking on this particular date.
Okay.
That date is locked
Right.
for that person. So I only do 1 tour per day.
All right. And it's going to be you.
It's going to be me.
You're a yep.
Yep,
Got it.
one-man show. So that initiates the conversation between me and the guest.
Mm-hmm.
After the invoice is paid, then they get a questionnaire. And that questionnaire it affords them the ability to pick which locations they want to see.
Okay.
Right? And everybody's familiar with Garden of the Gods and Pikes Peak, but they may not be familiar with a lot of the other ones that are available. So it'll pique their interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they select several of those, I see it when the questionnaire comes back to me. And then I determine immediately whether or not we can see all of those things,
Yeah.
in 6 or 8 hours.
Sure.
So then I start communicating back and forth with the guest.
Okay.
And we kind of decide, is there certain ones that you have to see? And if that exceeds maybe like the 6-hour tour, then we'll talk about maybe bumping up to the 8-hour tour.
Yeah. Okay.
Just so we can get everything to fit.
And you can do up to 6 people?
I can do up to 6 people.
Up to 6 people in a group?
Yep.
Okay.
They provide me with their address on the questionnaire, and that's pretty big. Doing the tours that I've done, you always have to go somewhere to meet with your tour guide.
Right.
And if you're from out of town or you're from out of country, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to have any idea where this particular address is, so you're going to have to arrange transportation
Yeah,
to
whether
get
it's
there.
the Antlers or VRBO or Broadmoor or
Exactly.
whatever. Right. Okay. Got it.
So when they provide me with the address
Mhm.
for pickup, that's what I do. So the morning the tour starts, I go and pick up the guest.
Okay.
Or guests, plural.
Yeah.
Take them throughout their itinerary that we've customized for them. And at the end of the tour, I bring them back to where we started.
Okay. That's great. Does it include snacks?
Snacks,
Okay.
water.
Cool.
The
All
Yeti's
right.
really good about providing that stuff.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. When I was looking at your website, Wes, one of the things that I liked was your line that said, "The pursuit of gold is at the heart of our past, present, and future." Which I just think that really does sum it up pretty well.
For this area, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That is very well put together. So, what would you say, other than maybe like the benefits of a private tour? other than sitting next to Greg from Wisconsin that you don't have to do.
Sorry, Greg.
Yeah, sorry, Greg. Exactly. Come on back. But what did people tell you that they like so much about a private tour?
It's like being on a tour with a family member
Mm-hmm.
that already knows the area, and they're able to show you the quote-unquote secret spots,
Yeah.
the hidden gems, not only get you from point A to point B, but to tell you a little bit about the history as you're going past. You
Yeah.
know, so if I pick somebody up from the Antlers,
Sure.
and the first stop I typically do is Pikes Peak, if that's one of the things they want to do. I
Mhm.
like to knock that out before
Yeah.
the weather gets
Yeah.
changing here in the springs. So along the way, there's stuff to talk about the whole way.
History markers.
Yes.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people going down Highway 24, going westbound, pay no attention to the smokestack, right?
Yeah. At Gold Hill.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Golden Cycle Mill.
Yeah.
So I talk about that for a while.
Mhm.
We're passing Old Colorado City, talk about how crazy it was back in the
Yeah.
day in Old Colorado City.
The first capital, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're going past Manitou Springs. So it's not so much the destination, it's the journey, right?
Yeah.
And if you're
Storytelling.
Yeah, if you're having to drive yourself as a driver,
Mhm.
you're not going to be paying attention to everything around you. So that affords you the ability to just sit back, relax, take it all in, and sightsee.
Okay.
And that's the big thing.
How many years you been doing this now?
This is essentially going into my second year.
Going into
Last
year
year was
two.
kind of like a soft launch, trying to figure out if
Mhm.
it's something that people would really want. So I did a couple of free ones and
Sure.
friends and family.
Feedback. Yeah, talk to me.
Exactly. Let's
Yeah.
do the booking process online and see.
Yeah.
Let's work out some bugs, right?
You're right.
So then, once I realized this is a legit thing, and then I found out, you know, there are licensing that you need to get
Sure.
in order to do this business. So I set everything kind of aside at last fall and went through that process to get
Okay.
licensed and completely blessed by the state.
Yeah.
And then fired it back up in May of this year.
We have people, you know, we've talked to a lot of people, entrepreneurs, restaurateurs, and, you know, what it's like to, one person described it as jumping off a cliff without a parachute. I'm going to build it on the way, right? What have you learned being an entrepreneur in, you know, starting this business of yours?
Oh man, it certainly was a leap of faith, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as I retired and I had to decide what I wanted to be when I grew up,
Sure.
I wasn't quite sure. I still kind of had the passion for what I was doing, so it was
Mhm.
kind of hard to let that go.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, maybe I'll get into it with a different agency. And then it was during my retirement cruise, that same month that I retired, that the wife and I were talking, and we had always talked prior to the
Mhm.
retirement, the official retirement,
Yeah.
about bringing some type of tour business that we had talked about, the 100% private, the customizable
Mhm.
thing here,
Yeah.
right? But that was always on the back burner. It was never anything that I could really give
Yeah,
the
sure.
correct attention to.
Sure.
So then, you know, in January of last year, we really started going, well, maybe this is something that's viable,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
you have no idea.
Right.
You know that there's other tour companies in the area, but they're just providing a different type of
Mhm.
service.
Yeah, there's walking tours.
Mhm.
Yeah, food tours.
Exactly.
There are. Yeah,
Right.
We've done podcasts on a lot of them. Yeah.
So, it was a complete leap of faith. Had no idea what I was getting into.
Mhm.
And you do learn as you go, for sure.
Sure.
And then, you build it and you tweak it, and you hope that it's something that, you know, ultimately you're happy with
Right.
as an owner, and that your clients and your guests are really happy with when they leave.
Well, and Wes, in listening to you, one of the things that I'm taking from this is, you know, okay, so you're a native, so you could have tried this somewhere else. I mean, there's a lot of tourist destinations out there, but this is the one you grew up in. This is the one you know the best. And I find it interesting when I'm talking with audiences, and I'll ask people for a show of hands so how many of you were born here? And 5 hands will go up, right? Oh, how blessed are you? That was great, So the rest of you, how'd you get here, right? And they'll say, oh, Doug, we came on vacation, or I was stationed here.
Big military presence.
Big military presence. Came here for a conference. saw those mountains and wondered, do they have jobs here? I mean, how Colorado Springs is a place where a lot of people are drawn to. And I hope that, what one of the things that just makes your business pretty special is that you really can point to different landmarks and say, yeah, so when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done that a couple times.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even when you do the research, I started falling down rabbit holes and you learn. I've lived here my whole life, minus a couple of years in Southern California, but there's things that I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then.
So give us, let's just give us one. Like when you were putting this whole business together and doing your research and the history and everything else, what's one thing that surprised you that you didn't know?
One thing I just learned recently is there's one person buried on the top of Pikes Peak.
Okay.
Had no idea.
Wow.
And I got to Google it. I'm not going to give away the secrets.
Yeah.
But it was an idea that this individual presented to Spencer Penrose to have kind of a mausoleum on the top of Pikes Peak.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come to fruition, but this one particular person is buried at the top of Pikes Peak.
That's kind of cool.
On purpose.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous mountain.
Yeah,
right?
bad
Can
enough.
be at times. But.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's do this. I'm going to take a little break here and talk about the fact that Visit Colorado Springs has launched a new neighborhoods and areas hub that highlights 25 unique communities across the Pikes Peak region. In addition to well-known spots like Old Colorado City and Manitou Springs, the hub also features lesser-known areas like Security Widefield, Nob Hill, and Green Mountain Falls. So whether you're local to the Springs or visiting, you're guaranteed to learn something new about what the region has to offer. Check it out at visitcos.com/areas. Okay, so Wes, I told you before we started that we've got 3 questions that we like to ask.
Oh boy.
That we like to ask people. And
Jeopardy.
Yeah. So the first one is in 3 words, describe Colorado Springs.
Scenic. Adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's going to be hyphenated.
Okay.
Sketchy weather.
Sketchy weather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you learn to adapt to the weather in Colorado Springs.
Layer up, right?
Yeah.
Layer up. We do learn that.
If you don't like the weather,
Yeah.
wait 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say growth too, or growing. We talked about that one
sure.
earlier. Okay. All right, another question then for you. I'm sure you've got a lot of these, but if you picked your favorite hidden gem in the region, and anywhere in the Pikes Peak region, where do you go, Wes, to just compress and it's your spot?
That's a tough one, Don. Off the beaten path that doesn't get a lot of attention.
Yeah, hidden gem.
Would definitely be. I mean, there's a few, but I would throw the paint mines Interpretive Park out there.
Yeah.
Because everybody's in Colorado Springs, right? Or they're looking at the mountains, and you don't get a lot of attention looking east. But it's once you get in there and you start hiking, it's
remarkable.
Yeah.
That's a great choice.
Awesome.
So this one might be a tough one for you. What's still on your Colorado Springs bucket list? What have you not done that you'll just say, I got to go do that?
This is what's going to make this podcast about 45 minutes.
There you go.
Me thinking for about 20 of
That's
it.
all right. No, that's good.
I don't know. There's a couple that, and I don't know that I would do them, but I could see myself maybe thinking about doing them.
Okay.
Maybe doing a hot air balloon ride.
Yeah.
One that I think has a 0.05% chance of ever happening would be skydiving.
Okay.
Just to see the Springs from a different look.
Yeah.
And whitewater rafting is awesome too. I mean, I know it's not localized to the
Sure.
Springs,
Well,
but
it's
close.
Canyon City. Yeah. I mean, the Arkansas.
I've done it once before, and that's something that I'd probably like to go back and do again. So
Yeah, I know, no doubt. Whitewater rafting is something that, for us, it's just an hour away, and yet you talk about a memory. Yeah, it's really special to this region. Okay, well, all right. So let's put a bow on it and talk a little bit. Remind everybody of where they can go to get more information, and to book appointments, and what you really want them to know about Colorado Yeti
So
Tours.
it's ColoradoYetiTours.com.
Okay.
Right. The best place. As soon as you get on the website, it's going to be the front page. It's kind of be like a landing page, if
Sure.
you will.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend hitting the frequently asked questions
Okay.
on the page itself. That's going to answer a lot of questions about what happens before you book a tour,
Mm-hmm.
on the tour, and what happens after the tour. You can go to the About Me, see my ugly
Sure.
mug on there,
Yeah,
so you know what you're getting into.
Exactly. Yeah. Here's the Uber guy that's going to pick you up.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
And then you can email me, Wes, at ColoradoYetiTours.com if you
Okay.
have questions. There's a phone number on the website. You can text me.
Sure.
I don't have any problem with prospective clients or guests reaching out and saying, hey.
Yeah. We're qualifying you. We're figuring out if this is what we want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
I
that's
don't have any problem with that. I may be on a tour, so if you try to call, I may not answer, but that's the reason why.
Yeah. Okay.
Once I'm on a tour, my attention is 100% to the
Sure.
guests that I have.
Okay.
So if the phone rings, it's not being answered.
Well, there's one last thing I was hoping that you'd have no problem talking about, and I'd like listeners to know a little bit about One Tree Planted.
Oh, so as part of, I guess, my business model,
Mm-hmm.
kind of sets me apart, I guess, a little bit, is everyone knows that the Yeti and the Bigfoot and the Sasquatch are the hide and seek world champions, right?
Yeah.
And they typically hide behind trees. So when I was trying to figure out kind of something to set me apart,
Yeah.
aside from those other pillars that we've already
Mhm,
talked about,
mhm.
that's when I kind of ran into One Tree Planted. I was also considering trying to do a partnership with the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, because
Mhm.
there's the whole animal aspect of
Sure.
it. But I settled on One Tree Planted. And what I do is I take 10% of all of my bookings
Mhm.
and I donate it to One Tree Planted. And, to help them with reforestation. And initially, when I first started doing it, they had region-specific donations.
Yeah.
So initially, I was donating all my money to Colorado plantings. And they've now done away with the regional stuff, and now it's just worldwide. Wherever they need the trees the
Okay,
most
okay.
is what gets the attention. So that's where I funnel my funds to.
Well, as of today, I think I saw where I think the number 67 is how many trees have been planted.
In Colorado.
Yeah, just since you've started your business.
But
and
there's over
contributing.
450
Yeah.
on top of that have gone
around
globally.
around the world.
Mhm.
So that's great. So for listeners, just know that Wes gets it and wants to give back, and I
It's
think
not so much me, it's more the Yeti.
It's more the
Yeah,
Yeti,
he's a
but
little- he's talking in my ear.
yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, Wes, thank you for your time today, and I hope that people will realize the power of a personalized, customized tour in a nice SUV.
Yeah.
How it can really make memories for a lifetime. So I wish you the very best, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.